Okay, it being 11 o'clock, we'll call to order the December 12th, 2023 meeting of the Michigan State Capitol Commission. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming today. Appreciate it. We'll start with the attendance with the secretary, please. Thank you, Valerie.
Chair Candler.
Here.
Vice Chair Bauer. Here. Mr. Bowman.
Here.
Mr. Brown.
Here.
Mr. Oberlin.
Here.
5 members are present.
We have a quorum. Thank you. The next issue, of course, is establishment of future meeting dates after a lot of back and forth, and thank you, Valerie, for taking, I couldn't even keep track of what day we had. We had so many emails going back and forth. We ended up at February 2nd for our next meeting. So everybody still okay with that? Great, all right. Yeah, thank you so much. That was quite a project. The next issue will be the approval of the October meeting minutes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by?
Support.
Moved and supported. Any questions, comments, corrections? All in favor of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Thank you. Item 5 on the agenda is the updated capital procedures, and Rob Blackshaw is going to talk to us about that. You all know, we adopted some new procedures, especially regarding security in the building, which required us to kind of go through and look at all the procedures and make sure they all are consistent, current, and up to date. So Rob's going to talk about that. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for your time today. As Bill said, we are introducing to you today the updated capital procedures, which do include all the new Heritage Hall language that we worked on to include as part of Capitol Square. So it's all under the same roof, you say, for policy. We've added all of our updated security procedures in this document, and we are basically compliant with law and everything that we have put in there. Our staff has spent a lot of time reviewing it, as well as a few commissioners, so we appreciate everyone's time on this. But I ask that you take this for the next month, review it, and then at our next meeting, we'll ask to vote on it to make it official. So if there's any questions, I can take some. Yes, sir.
On security, just a question. Are we no longer, the state police normally man the north annex entrance. There's not been an officer there for about 2 weeks.
They're working through some issues, and if they said there's anywhere that can be light, that is the area.
It's redundant to an extent because you still have to pass through security up on the first floor anyway. But
Yes, and also to get even through that area, you have to swipe card access.
That's true.
And we have a record of who goes through that door once they swipe it.
I was just wondering if there was some issue that was going on, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is being addressed, thank you.
And we still have an issue all around of staffing. The House sergeants, Senate sergeants, state police, everybody's had to add personnel to comply with that, so we're still catching up. Any other questions? Comments? Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it. The next item is Park Michigan. This Commissioner Bowman is going to make his presentation, and he spent an enormous amount of time on this, as you all probably could see from the excellent press we've gotten also. So, John, you want to bring us up to speed as to where we are in Park Michigan?
Absolutely, thank you. I'm happy to have a chance to start discussing this at a commission level. We've been working on it internally for some time now, and I think it's a potentially very exciting addition to the Capitol downtown complex in a way that we can enhance the experience for visitors to the Capitol building. And it's the creation of a new park. We're calling it Park Michigan. It's anchored on the east by the Capitol building, on the west with the Supreme Court's Hall of Justice. To the south would be the State Historical Center and library, and to the north. I'll talk in a minute about some potential features that would kind of depict a pure Michigan. It would create a physical connection between the Capitol building, the Hall of Justice, and the Library and Historic Center. And it creates a symbolic connection between the legislative branch, the executive branch, the judicial branch, all in a way that we can also celebrate both the cultural and natural history of Michigan, a way to help tell Michigan's story, to create an opportunity for folks who've come to visit the Capitol to expand that visit by enjoying green space in downtown Lansing. The idea is that in addition to creating this sort of physical connection, the idea is to create a smaller scale version of the National Mall in Washington, just as the National Mall in Washington celebrates our nation, it celebrates our nation's history, celebrates our nation's governmental institutions. We think we can do that in Michigan. We can celebrate Michigan. We can celebrate Michigan's history. We can celebrate Michigan's governmental institutions. And we can create an environment where we can teach people about Michigan and its history. So it's a concept at this point. The conceptual drawing is on the screen. It's anchored in the middle by what we call the We the People Plaza, which gives you a 360-degree view of the park in all directions. Again, you look to the east, you'll see the Capitol building. You look to the west, you see the Hall of Justice. You look to the south, and you'll see the Hyde Library and Historic Center. And to the north, Rob, if you can put that other slide up, we're talking about creating, like I mentioned, something that depicts Michigan's natural resources. In this case, one of the conceptual ideas is to create an escarpment wall depicting pictured rocks. And within this park, we would also have an amphitheater. We get a lot of school groups that come in to perform. It would also be available for community groups to use. We are potentially have a sculpture garden, potentially a butterfly greenhouse and gardens. There would be walkways, native plantings, kiosks that describe Michigan's history and its sort of march to statehood. We're also at least looking into the idea in 2026. The United States celebrates its 250 years anniversary of our democracy. And we think the park would be a great place to have a monument that depicts and celebrates that 250th anniversary and celebrates Michigan's contributions to our nation's history. So we're really excited about the concept. We had positive feedback from virtually everyone that we've talked to about it at this point. The Lansing City Council passed a resolution in support of us, of the park, so we're excited about that. And we're moving forward with it. We envision it to be a public-private partnership, so we're going to look for state support for the base park, and we're going to reach out to private support to build some of the features. This is conceptual at this point, so I don't want us to get ahead of ourselves. We have to deal with several important issues. Current site usage is, of course, important. If you look out at that area, it's an area of surface parking lots. We are working with the state, working with DTMB on what their parking needs are. We'd like to have that discussion that even if parking is needed, is this the right spot for parking when we think we can create something pretty special in this space. Obviously, the funding is a piece that we will continue to work with as we go. So those are the issues that are out there. A couple other just points. If you look out with the new addition to the Capitol building, we're getting an uptick in visitors, which is terrific, right? We are booking Heritage Hall out for a year out now. And one of the ancillary benefits is we created this expansive lawn and kind of a park-like setting on the west side of the Capitol, which was really underutilized up until we opened up that addition. We're seeing greater use on that. Well, that west side of the Capitol opens up to the Frank Kelly walkway, which is the walkway that stretches between the executive office buildings. That would take you directly to the park that we're talking about. We're also talking about a connection of a bike trail, pedestrian walkway that would connect the park to the Lansing River Trail system. Would work both ways. For people visiting the park would have access to really one of the state's best bike trail networks. It would also be another way to access the park visitors of the Lansing River Trail to visit this new park. We're reaching out for ideas still. Like I said, it's conceptual, but we're excited about the possibilities and happy to answer any questions or update anyone on where we're at right now.
Any questions? Anybody? Commissioner Bauer?
Just a comment. I think this is such an exciting project, and again, John has really taken the lead in this, and it just has the possibility of doing so very much for the state. And I keep thinking my little great niece is coming on a field trip Monday of the Capitol, and of course they'll walk over to the Michigan History Center as part of that field trip. And I think of the opportunity for all those children who already come here, as well as adults. So hopefully we can move it forward. We're certainly working on it, but I just want to commend John and everyone who's supporting this.
John has done a great job, but I'm sorry, the park won't be done by next week. We're trying.
I
We're trying.
promised her
We're trying.
that and a pony for Christmas.
It may take a couple more weeks. Yeah, this is really a great project. This commission, I'm very proud of this commission. You know, we went through the whole, and the staff working with the commission, we went through the whole project of restoring the Capitol building, and then we went through the Heritage Hall project, and now this big project. We've made a big impact, not only just on the architecture of this city, but the whole climate for the neighborhoods will change, have a major impact for a lot of people visiting here and living here. So this is a really exciting project for us, and I think I'm very proud of this commission, very proud of the work that John has done to really move this forward. So this is going to be pretty exciting. Anybody else have a comment, question? Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Okay, now we'll get on to the Rob Blackshaw show. The report of the executive director. John, Rob has quite a few things to talk about. This just shows you how much work the staff has been doing on all kinds of things lately. So, Rob, take it away, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, I want to start with the hottest ticket in the city of Lansing, if not the state, is the Capitol ornament. We have sold over 2,100 ornaments to date. We have an additional 500 on order again, to total over 2,600 ornaments that we could potentially sell. Of the 500 we have already on order, we have already sold over 310 of those. So we are down to 180 in our stock. This year, we almost doubled our typical order, which just shows you the popularity of this. The great thing about it, this design of ornament this year, it was so nice. This is going to resonate for years and years, and we already know that people are going to be looking back to it. The bad part is that Barb and Josh are going to miserably fail with the design for next year. Not that I'm not offering hope, but they did such a great job with this, and I love to kid. They did such a great job with this one, as you can tell with the sales of this ornament. But just a couple more bullet points with this. The first shipment of 1,500 sold out in 3 days, which is a record. I don't know if we ever did it. We've been updating availability through our gift shop page, our social media pages. There's even been news articles this year published in MERS, Gongward, and MLive. And when it hit MLive, I was up north and my phone started going off, and there was a lot of friends I have living in the Detroit area saying, how can I get a hold of these? So there was an outreach to get these this year. So maybe in the future we continue to reach out to MERS, Gongwards, and MLive for potential, sales. But again, I just thought I'd love to share these tidbits with the commission here on the success we've had this year with our Capitol ornament sales. I'll move on and talk about the Rotunda Restoration Project. I don't have many nice pictures to update from last month. A lot of the progress is the same. It is moving along quite nicely. We have recently approved a few items that I'll mention that are key to matching and improving the aesthetic in this project. We've approved stencil boards with colors that's going to be applied to the 5th, 6th, and 7th levels. Barb and Josh and the team have been up there working relentlessly with the contractors, approving things that may look like a minor detail from the ground, but when you're up there, it makes a big impact, and we are not settling for good enough. We are really pushing the contractors and the consultants for detail, and it shows when I go up and walk around and just see the level of detail. And once in a while you see a frustrated contractor, but That's what they're here to do. So we only have one shot at this for the next 30 years, so we are taking it extremely serious while we're up there. We're reviewing a varnish mock-up in the Oculus, so this paint over the years has kind of faded out. It was determined that the varnish was too glossy, so we're having them reapply a varnish with a matte finish. And if that varnish doesn't work, we're just going to have them repaint the entire Oculus, which is the star, not the stars, but the surface around it. We're looking at primer and paint on the window sashes up there, things that people don't see. But again, we're taking it very serious, as we know we're not going to be able to look at it for the next 30 years. We want to make sure that the coatings and the things that we do to it are Class A. So there's still a lot of cleaning and general painting to do taking place as well. We also added some environmental monitors a couple months ago that I mentioned, and we are now getting humidity and temperature readings from areas of the dome and surfaces adjacent to the interstitial spaces that we have never had before. These readings help guide us as to when we should work on these surfaces and when not to work on these surfaces. For instance, we have our conservator now who was scheduled in January. We have now pushed them to April when they work on the allegorical paintings to make sure that the surfaces accept the paint at the right temperature. Doing it beforehand could lessen the reduce the longevity of the painted surfaces. So that was a decision that we got to make with more accurate readings. So this is offering us information that we can make, as I said, make better and quicker decisions on that type of thing. I'll move to the next agenda item, which is glass floor restoration project. Once the scaffolding is removed from this big project, the glass floor will be exposed again. The glass floor had about 4 or 5 broken pieces on it that we know that need to be replaced, but instead of replacing them prior to adding 40 tons of scaffolding on it, I thought it'd be beneficial if we waited till that was done, just in case something was broken again. Now, over the last 25 years, I've been searching for a contractor. Matter of fact, I'll go back to one of my last days working with Jerry Lawler before I worked for the House. He said, can you find a contractor who can find a glass replacement that matches the existing? To match the existing, we're talking about the colors and the hues of the glass. There's also cooling patterns on the top and the bottom that are different, that are a little rough. Well, over the last 25 years, we've used different contractors to help replace those glass. Unfortunately, it's just been a local glass contractor, and no disrespect to them, they're not into the business of restoration. They're into the business of glass replacement. If you go down there, I'm not saying it looks like a calico cat by any means, but there are different hues and different surface finishes and different colors. But last week, I found a contractor after 25 years of searching. Now, don't get me wrong, I wasn't going home every night searching the internet trying to find this. But through connections and other people, I found a contractor out of Rhode Island who can actually work on our glass floor and come up with the same cooling patterns at the thickness that we walk on. And I'm just pretty elated. I wanted to share this with everyone, that after the scaffolding is done, we're already starting to work, pulling up all the information that Valerie and I have in the background and working with our architect to create a floor plan that we can style now mark of what pieces need to be replaced, and we can put a plan together to actually start putting pieces back in that they'll all match and they're all the same color. So again, the level of detail that we all aspire to be the best stewards of this building. We're going across the country with 25 years of research to find these people. And it won't stop with me. I know that the staff who are younger than me will continue this work going forward. But it's always a pleasure to share this kind of information with everyone, that we are successful in finding the right person for the job. So I'll move on to the next topic, is the Senate elevator project. As you remember, this last summer, we were supposed to upgrade the Senate chamber elevator, but due to supply chain issues, we weren't able to do that because some of the equipment wasn't ready. Well, the equipment was ready, and I called the elevator company, and I've taken ownership of it and put it in our own warehouse, so there's no excuse for them to be late because of supply chain issues at this point. So just a reminder, we are planning to start working on that the first week of July, and it should take 4 to 6 weeks at the most. At the same time, I'm having a conversation with an elevator contractor looking at the interior cab of the House chamber elevator right outside of your office, Rich, just to upgrade the interiors. The interiors are starting to look a little worn and chipped, and I want to make sure that the interiors match what's going on with the rest of the building. So when I get more information with the finishes in there, I'll share more news and share that with you, and maybe we can do that this summer as well when we upgrade the other elevator, is upgrade the finishes for that one, so everything in the building matches, so. The next thing on here, if you take a quick look to your right and look at the acoustical panels, my left on the right, you'll see that this acoustical panel is a fabric panel that was installed in this room to really reduce the echoing that would really be a bad condition if they weren't here. But if you can look, that's 30 years old. You can see that there is an old electrical box with no plate, so dust is blown through it because on the other side, that's a fire chase. We've tried to clean this materials, but after 30 years of fabric being suspended, there is a dry rot issue. In order to clean that the right way, it would really destroy the panels. So we're looking with, again, working with Quinn Evans and Chrisman Construction to find the right contractor to replace those. The folks who made these panels back during the restoration process are no longer in business, so we're searching for the right contractor to help us replace that. We believe we've located someone, but we haven't finalized the scope or the right person yet. But I just wanted to show you that these will be replaced, and then considering the condition of the acoustical panels in the Senate and House chambers, we'll proceed once we have someone on board. But I just wanted to point that out. This is another project that we're looking forward to. The next item is the fourth floor ceiling project. As I mentioned at the last meeting, we're starting to look at the next decorative surface project that we're going to start working on. And the biggest need, just aesthetically from the eyes, was the fourth floor ceilings and cornice. Quinn Evans Architects and BCA Consultants recently reviewed the surfaces and did some initial testing for plaster integrity and paint adhesion in those areas. We are still waiting for the final report, but the initial reports indicate that there is damaged plaster that will need to be entirely replaced. And there's also some paint issues that have already started to fail and flake off because they're not adhering to the plaster, and that'll have to be updated as well. So our assumptions were correct. Just by looking at it, we are pretty sure this will be the next project. Our hope is to, as soon as we're done painting in April on the Rotunda project, is to have those same contractors just shift right over on the fourth floor west wing. And I'll work with the House and their conference rooms up there and committee rooms. Although if we put the scaffolding up, there should always be walkways, so we'll never interfere if those rooms need to be used. But this is the next area that we'll start to work on. And then once we start working on that, we'll project to the next projects, which I'll share once we evaluate what the next projects for decorative painting will be.
Rob, before we get into the Capitol website redesign, I just want to point out, you see all these things the staff are working on. It's a tremendous amount of work to keep this building up. When we did the original report to Governor Milliken when he appointed the Friends of the Capitol Group, as he called it at that time, our recommendation was that we keep the Capitol building a working Capitol, not make it a museum. But we have this kind of like counterbalancing issue of restoring this piece and maintaining this piece of artwork, yet making it workable as an office building. So this really is a lot of stuff to balance, a lot of wear and tear, and our staff is doing just an outstanding job, as you can see, of keeping on top of all these things. So we maintain this building, and I appreciate all the work all of you have done.
I got one more thing. It's not on the agenda, but I think it's worth mentioning. And talking about keeping it a functioning building and adding amenities, we are adding an adult changing station in the ground floor west wing family restroom. This was received from a grant. I don't remember the representative's name. I want to say Representative Stone, but if I'm mistaken, then I'm sorry about that. But anyway, this grant came through, and this will offer assistance to caregivers who work with seniors or larger kids who actually need help. So this additional amenity added does show the outreach and the consideration of all individuals who visit our Capitol. And it's nice to share with everyone that if someone comes here, we can make sure that we can have an opportunity to take care of them as the people who take care of them. So I think it was worth mentioning to you that that's happening and taking place at the same time. Now I'd like to introduce Brian Page. He is our Capitol Registrar and one of our tour educators. And he is, this month is an opportunity to share with you how we're upgrading our webpage. And I'll sit here with him and assist him if I have to.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Brian, thank you.
We are.
Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for hearing from me today. My name is Brian. I am the registrar here at the Capitol and an educator with the tour service, and I am here to present to you a new website for the Capitol. This Capitol website is supposed to launch with the new year, and it will replace our current website and retain the same domain of capitol.michigan.gov. Our current website has been in use for over a decade now, and it is in need of a freshening up and need of an update. Since our website launched, we've now done 8 years of preservation projects at the Capitol, opening of a state-of-the-art welcome center with permanent and special exhibits. As a education staff, we've vastly updated and grown the amount of services we provide and doing programs and publications and presentations. So simply put, we have a lot of new things to show, and this gives us a good opportunity to show what we have to offer and just how proud we are of our Capitol building here. So I won't take too much of your time today showing you the website. I want to show you enough to give you a feel of it. I hope it comes across as a clean, well-organized, modern-looking, attractive website that people can really dive into. So you can see it opens up with a beautiful homepage with our modern branding here at the Capitol. 4 very simple tabs that I'll take you through in just a moment. The main showpiece is our beautiful drone work from Motion Possible Films down in Kalamazoo. I have a great dramatic lighting of the Capitol, as well as a good view here of the new west approach to the building as well. The main information on the homepage is the most essential building information, building hours, address, tour information, parking information, public entrances. We have a section dedicated just for teachers, so they know when they go to our website where to go exactly if they are looking for field trip information, our main clientele. And, whoops, give me one moment here. I had a feeling that was going to happen. Let me connect to the website. Apologies, I did this 5 minutes ago. I disconnected. Oh boy, that's fun. Okay. I can get SPUB either. I'll try SPUB. Building up the suspense.
While we're waiting, if anyone would like to sing Christmas carols, feel free to get it started. That sucks.
Yeah, I don't know what to do here. Hold W and you have to
Question
be,
for you, do you have to be on a network or can I hotspot my phone for you?
I think you can hotspot.
If you can, there's the password if you want to just
Okay.
try that.
Cambry's iPhone. All right, a big thank you to Cambry Sampson. Okay. beautiful. So we'll sprint through this while we have internet. So main visitor page, we also have sections for each page focused on our main audience groups of your casual, average, Capitol enthusiast visitor. We have pages for legislative offices and their staffs who are looking to host constituents or looking to interact with groups and schools from their districts. We have pages set aside for constituents so they can find out where and when they can watch session, they can search through bills, they can find their legislator, as well as pages for our school groups who are looking to book tours. This is a page, for instance, for the constituents, so they can see how they can watch session and search through bills and find committee schedules and such. I think we're good internet-wise here. There we go, page for school groups and teachers. So a step-by-step walkthrough of how schools can schedule their field trips to the Capitol. Specific field trip parking. We also have specific sections for event parking and visitor parking as well. We have educational videos that have been put together over the past year for student groups, adult groups, and the main trailer that you've all seen as well. So links for those. And we're also going to be offering programs for school groups and adult groups, special topic programs. Most of these will be virtual programs that they can reach out to us to schedule, and then we can take them through. So for our student groups, for instance, we'll have walkthroughs of the legislative process and 3 branches of government, programs designed to enhance their Capitol tour. So they can either do these before they come to the building or after, but it gives us another way to reach out to groups throughout the state as well. Of course, with Heritage Hall and our renewed or updated West Lawn, we have prime event spaces for the Capitol, so we have a step-by-step walkthrough of how groups can book their events at the Capitol. Some great views of our main event spaces we have, as well as overviews of each of the spaces as well, so they can, when they call us to schedule, they have a good idea of the services we provide. And then for our Capitol enthusiasts and museum goers, we have sections on Capitol history. We have walkthroughs of our Capitol Square and the monuments and the grounds. Once again, we have educational videos we can share with them, as well as publications that we've put out. And finally, in our About section, we have a page for the Capitol Commission. As well as some headshots that will be on the way. Yeah. Keep those, everyone's work fine. Biographies for each of the commissioners, as well as commission materials that we can share. So we have information on upcoming meetings. We have information on previous meetings, as well as a full archive of MSCC minutes going all the way back to 2014, where people can actually download meeting minutes for the first time through the site. And we will also be listing our building use procedures and our security procedures here as well. And one last thing I'll show you that I'm really proud of too, that's a definite upgrade from our current site. If you're ever trying to go to a website on your smartphone and you find that the website is really hard to get through, you have to zoom in on the page to kind of get through it. One thing that's really nice about this is that it is formatted for smartphone viewage, and so you can see the commission page. It's kind of a seamless transition from the website version to the smartphone version, and especially going to the home page, you can see it. Looks pretty nice.
Ryan, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
How do you choose which version you want, the website or the phones?
Yep, so if you're looking on a computer, it'll automatically bring up the website version, and then if you're looking on your phone, it will bring up the smartphone version. And on smartphones, there's an option too where you can go back to the website version if you'd rather see that. But the idea here Valerie put it best a while ago, is if you're at at the grocery store in a line, waiting to check out, this is ideally a site you can bring up and just kind of scroll through with ease. So, so with that, I hope you enjoy it. It's set to launch, hopefully here in January, so coming soon. And I'll open it up for questions if we have any.
That's outstanding, beautiful, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Any questions, comments?
Wonderful, great job.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
That's really nicely done. What a resource, amazing resource.
One last comment. I'll continue to bring up different staff and different ideas to expose you to all the work that we're doing behind the scenes. It's very important. It's hard. I could spend a couple hours explaining what every staff member does, but giving the commission a snapshot of some of the hard work that is put into making this place what it is, I think it's very important to share with you all. So, thank you.
Thank you both very much. Any other business, any new business?
Can I ask a quick question on
Commissioner Brown?
Rob, just a quick question. You talked about that postponing the painting until April. Is that going to push back the completion date, or is that not going to have a?
No, I'll clarify. The general painters and all the painting of the surfaces will continue. The conservators who are coming in just to work on the allegorical paintings, which are the muses up in the dome, they're connected right to the interstitial space, and the surfaces of those are pretty cold. So it's like working on an actual fine art painting. That is the function that will be delayed till April. It will not hold up our project. The other folks who are already continuing or working out there, they're going to be done with the upper levels, I would say, by the end of this month into January. So the colder months, they're going to be on 4th floor and below, which there isn't a surface issue at that point.
Good, thank you.
And we still expect to remove the scaffolding in July? Is that
It
correct?
should be down, in June or July, be all the way down.
One other thing, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, I was wondering, would it be appropriate to make a motion right now to designate Rob Blackshaw as solely responsible for the design of the new ornament next year?
There are a few people in the audience who would support that. Barb and John.
Boy, you really are looking for a disappointment, aren't you?
Any other comments, questions? Any comments from the public? Anybody in the public wish to address the commission? Nobody? All right. Would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Commissioner Bauer moves.
Support.
Commissioner Brown supports. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Commission is adjourned. Thank you very much. Great meeting.